Good evening and welcome to Think About It Thursday. My name is Henry Dotson, and we're here again on our Journeys of Faith. And this is our weekly podcast where we think about it on Thursday, some of the ideas that were presented this past week. I hope you had a great second week of the year. It seems like we're just rolling right into it. Time waits for no one. So, I last week I was struggled a little bit because I was still overcoming a cold and there was a little bit of coughing and all of that. I fought it off, but I'm glad to say that now I'm doing a lot better. So last week we talked about finding your tribe, and this was the last step as you cross that threshold and you're beginning your cancer journey. And so now in the cancer journey, you are at that point where you are already now stepped into this unknown world of cancer. And so at this point, the question that we had to think about it for this Thursday was think about how your trials and adversity impact your life. Do you think they're necessary? Do you value them? So this is a interesting question that I think that we all need to answer whether we're on a cancer journey or not. Because in life, we always face trials and adversity. And we need to think about whether or not they impact our life or how they impact our life. This is particularly important when you're on a cancer journey. The other question that we asked you to think about is, do you think they're necessary? Um, that's something that I think might be uh, debatable, maybe in some cases. But in general, do you think that trials and adversity in your life are necessary? And then lastly, we asked, do you value them? Well, that kind of ties back to the second question, do you think they're necessary? Because if you don't think they're necessary, then you probably don't value them. So anyway, these are the things that we asked that you would think about on this Thursday. Well, that actually came from for those who have been watching this podcast regularly, you know that every day of the week prior to Thursday, we have the theme that we're working off of, which leads us to the Think About It Thursday question. And for our Monday, that's our Mindset Monday. And the question that we had on our Mindset Monday, or what we said about it on our Mindset Monday, was um, that you have the mindset that you must travel the road of trials to begin your transformation. So, this is one of the steps along the cancer journey. And the road of trials is the series of tasks and treatments, troubles, tribulations, and setbacks that travelers must undergo to begin their transformation. Now, you might ask, well, what kind of transformation? Well, cancer itself and the journey will transform you both physically, mentally, and spiritually. So, the way that transformation takes place is by traveling this road of trials. And there's some of those trials that you must face alone, and some you may include assistance from others, especially the members of your support team. And this applies to all travelers on this cancer journey. So that means that it doesn't just apply to the patient, but it also applies to the caregiver and the family members and friends who have decided to support the cancer patient in the journey, that they too are also on a cancer journey. And they too will face they too will travel that road of trials. So all travelers will continue to grow in faith and spirit and gain wisdom and insight and develop mental toughness as they journey on the road of trials. So that kind of speaks to the questions about the impact that the road of trials may have on your life. And it also sort of begs that question, do you think that they are necessary? Well, I believe, and according to my faith, that as I understand it, that these trials that we go through are necessary, that these are the things that help us to grow. And I know that in my own personal life, that when I have gone through trials and tribulations, that when I come out the other end, that I am a changed person. And I'd like to think that most of the time it's been a change for the better. And therefore, I'm of the opinion, and I think that it's backed up in the scriptures and in just observations, that people who make it through trials and tribulations, they turn out to be stronger and better for it. Now, there's a caveat to that, and that is when you get through that trial and tribulation, it depends on your where you wind up from a spiritual point of view and how you perceive that you've come through that trial and tribulation. If you think that you've come out for the worse, then you obviously won't feel as though you've made any progress. But if you think that you've come out of it and you are wiser and you know better, then you will. Now, for the person who thinks that they have not come out better, I believe that that in part is because they haven't really thought very deeply or enough about what they've been through and the lessons they could learn from it. So, yes, if you come out of a trial or a tribulation and you think that you wound up on the short end of the stick, then you will always feel like you lost or you lost something in it. But it's been my experience that when you come through those trials and tribulations, you look for the good. You look for the things that have made you better. And if for no other reason, you made it through it. You know, you're not dead by the side of the road. That you are alive and you live to see another day. So that in and of itself is a victory, and that's something worth celebrating. But even more so than that, you really need to look at the adversity and trials and tribulations that you're going to go through on this cancer journey as something that is transforming you into the next better version of yourself. Now, that may be hard to understand and grasp right now, but it's very important that we take that point of view in the things that we go through, particularly on the cancer journey. And we said that and when we go past our Mindset Monday, we always look for on Tuesdays, we call that our Tip Tuesday. And on Tip Tuesday, we're always looking for a quote that would provide some insight, some light on the topic that we're talking about for the week. And this is the one that you must travel this road of trials. And so for this week, um, I found a quote that I think is kind of interesting because of it. It certainly underscores what I've been talking about, but I find it interesting from the person who is the person who made the quote. Um, some of you may, if you're Disney fans, you're a fan of Walt Disney, then you may be aware that this is the 50th anniversary of Disney World. So I found it interesting, and I found it convenient and maybe a coincidence that the quote that we have comes from Walt Disney himself. And what he said was, "All the adversity I've had in my life, all the troubles and obstacles have strengthened me. You may not realize it when it happens, but a kick in the teeth may be the best thing in the world for you." So that's what good old Uncle Walt said. and we can see his accomplishments, um, and their impact that they've had all over the world. And we'd like to think that, well, it was a very nice thing, and he had maybe an easy road, but he talked about the adversity that he faced. It wasn't the good things, but he said that those were the best things. They may be the best things in the world for you, because when he actually had all of those adversities, again, he said that those were the things that strengthened him. And the same thing is the case for the adversities and the troubles and the trials and tribulations that you will go through on your cancer journey. So just something that you should keep in mind if you're looking at it with that a different perspective, where you're thinking that it's just all for pain and suffering and it's all for naught. Well, I'm here to tell you, and the world is here to tell you that it is not. And if you don't believe what um, famous people who have made very positive contributions to this world think about it, then I would suggest that you go to the Word and see what the scriptures say about it. And so on our Wednesdays, that's our Wisdom Wednesday. And we go to the book of wisdom, which is for those who are Christians and people of faith, that book is the Word of God. So when I looked for some words of wisdom regarding the right mindset that you should have, or how you should think about the trials and tribulations that you're going to go through on this road of trials in your cancer journey, I came across the scripture in James, which I think is very familiar to those who spend time studying the word. And what it says there in James 2 through 4 is first it says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers, when you encounter trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith develops perseverance." So the first thing he's saying is that these tests and these trials are a test of your faith. The second thing he says, as the other verses of the scriptures that I'm using, is that that you need to allow perseverance to finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, and not lacking anything. So what the word is saying is that there is a purpose for going through trials and tribulations, and that is to learn perseverance. And when you have perseverance, that it will finish the work in you, which is to make you mature and complete and not lacking anything. So if you don't want to lack anything as you go through this cancer journey, you must realize that you have to travel this road of trials. So I hope that, as those of you who are on a cancer journey, that you have the right perspective as to what it means and why you're going through all these things. Because remember, the cancer journey will be a journey that transforms you, and you want to be transformed in your body. You want to get that healing. Well, that's going to take a transformation, because currently your body is not healed, but you also go through a transformation in your mind and in your spirit. And so you need to go through this road of trials so that you can receive your transformation there also. So back again, we come on this Think About It Thursday to the questions. Think about your trials and adversity and how they impact your life. Do you think they are necessary? And do you value them? Well, I hope that through our little 15-minute time here on the podcast, that you've come to realize uh, that there's strong evidence from the world and the word that there is a purpose for your trials and tribulations, and that it is for your good. So hopefully that will give you the right attitude, because I'm not saying that it's easy to go through these trials and tribulations, particularly those that you experience during cancer. But if you have the right attitude about it and understand what its purpose is, then it makes it easier for you to have that perseverance and endure. and you will trust in God that it is for your good. So, with that, I'd like to bring this Think About It Thursday podcast to a close. And I wish that you would continue to contemplate the questions and have that mindset that you must travel this road of trials and that it is for your good. So until next time, take care and God bless, and we'll see you next Thursday.